Happy Kids TV.
The Holy Tales.
Today I'm going to tell you the story of John. John Nereus was the younger son of Zebedee and Salome, and the younger brother of James the elder, who was also a disciple of Jesus. John was one of the most beloved disciples of Jesus, and like his elder brother, he too was a fisherman. John lived with his family in Bethsaida and Capernaum and later in Jerusalem. He went around the world preaching his master's doctrines and also went and preached in the churches of Asia Minor. After John became a disciple to Jesus, he wrote the Gospels of John 1, John 2, John 3, and Revelations. Once, John was banished to the Isle of Patmos as a prisoner for preaching in the name of Jesus. Later, he was freed and he eventually died due to old age. John was not only a man of action, but he was also very ambitious and held no tolerance for unfair or selfish people. John was very close to another disciple named Peter, and they would often be sent together for ministry work. But it was John who always stood out and acted as the spokesperson of the band. As years went by, old age caught up with him, and he soon forgot all about his ambition. All he remembered was the Lord's command of love. John once wanted to take his own life by drinking poison from a chalice. But the Lord spared his life for all the good deeds he had done all his life. He finally died of natural causes, and the chalice with the snake became his apostolic symbol. That was the story of John. I hope you children enjoyed it.
Oh, yes, we sure did.
That was quite an interesting story.
The Holy Tales.
Today I'll tell you the story of Peter.
Peter? The one who denied Jesus?
Yes, come on, let's hear his story. Simon Peter was the son of Jonas, the fisherman. He lived in Bethsaida and Capernaum and grew up to become a fisherman just like his father. He is known for doing massive missionary work and for going as far as Babylon to spread Jesus' words to the people. In the latter years of his life, he also wrote down 2 epistles of the New Testament. In all apostolic lists all over the world, Peter's name is mentioned first. However, he had many different names in other languages also. Peter's Greek name was Simon, and his Hebrew name was Cephas, which both meant rock. Peter lived in Capernaum with his wife, and every time Jesus went there, he would make Peter's home his headquarters. Peter was a Galilean too, like almost all the other disciples of Jesus. Among the 12 disciples, Peter was the leader. He was known to be the spokesman for all the 12 apostles. Peter always asked the most difficult and challenging questions to Jesus. It was Peter who asked how often one must forgive. He also wanted to know about the rewards of following Jesus. He was the one who confessed and declared that Jesus was the Son of the living God. Yet, it was he who denied Jesus before a maiden. Peter had many faults, but his saving grace was his loving heart. When it was decided that Peter was to be martyred on a cross, he requested to be crucified with his head downward, as he believed he was not worthy of dying the same way as his Lord had died. And hence, his apostolic symbol is a cross upside down with crossed keys. So, did you enjoy the story?
Yes, we did. It was a nice story indeed.
The Holy Tales.
I am going to tell you the story of the Good Samaritan.
The Good Samaritan? Who is a Good Samaritan?
We'll get to know about that as we hear the story.
Okay.
One day, a man came up to Jesus while he was teaching. The man asked Jesus,
Lord, what must I do to live forever?
My son, the Old Testament law says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And this, my son, is the only way to live forever.
The man looked confused. He asked,
My Lord, what does loving your neighbor mean? Do I have to love all my neighbors equally or just the ones that live close by?
Jesus told the man a story about the Good Samaritan to help explain to the man the true meaning of loving your neighbors. One day, a man was traveling alone from Jerusalem to Jericho. While he was on his way, some robbers attacked him. They beat him up and took away everything that he had, even his clothes. The man was left all alone on the road, hurt and robbed. He waited and waited for someone to come by and help him. Soon, a priest was walking by the same road. He saw the man lying on the ground in pain. He looked at him but did not help him. He continued with his journey. Soon enough, a Levite was crossing the same road where the man lay on the ground.
Who is a Levite, Holy?
A Levite is a man who knew all of God's laws. They were good Jews.
Oh.
The man lay on the ground and asked for help from the Levite. But the Levite did not help him. He ignored him and went on his way. Finally, a man from Samaria came along that road. The Jews never liked the Samaritans because they thought them to be selfish. The Samaritan saw the man in pain and immediately stopped to help him. He took out his wine and oil from his bag and put it on his wounds. Then he lifted the man and took him to a nearby inn. There, he took care of the man all night to make sure he was going to be all right. The next morning, the Samaritan had to leave for his own journey. He wanted to make sure that the injured man was taken care of, so he gave the innkeeper some money. He gave the innkeeper enough money so that the injured man could stay for the next 2 months. He even told the innkeeper that he would come back and pay him more money if the man was still sick. So, children, tell me, which one of these men do you think was a true neighbor to the hurt and robbed man? The priest, the Levite, or the Samaritan?
The Samaritan. He was the true neighbor. He helped the man in distress.
Yes. This is exactly what Jesus wanted to explain. No matter who it is, you should always help those who need your help. Every other person is a neighbor, not only the ones who live close by.
Oh. So, Tubby, Gumbo, you are my neighbors. And so are you, Holy, and everyone who are around me. I love you all, and I love them too.
That's good, Freckles.
Hope you enjoyed the story, just as we did. We'll be back soon with a new parable. Keep watching! To watch more videos, please subscribe.
Plants and trees. On the fourth day, God created the sun to shine in the day, the moon and stars to come out at night. One day, Moses went to Mount Horeb with his sheep. There, God appeared to him as a flame of fire in a bush. Since there was no room anywhere else, they decided to spend the night in a stable. Here, Mary had her baby, Jesus. She wrapped him in a blanket and put him to sleep.
He's got the whole